Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I appreciate your coming. We continue our series of webinars, methods of teaching English in multi-level groups of learners. And today we're having the second webinar, strategies for managing multi-level groups of learners. I know that there are some people from other countries except Ukraine, so I just suggest checking where you joined the webinar from. You can scan the code, you can go to menti.com, type in the code 76673944. You can see that, and you should pin the country you are in now on the map that you can see. On the map, you will find Ukraine and European countries. I didn't manage to use the whole map of the world, so it's impossible to do on Mentimeter. So if you are not from Europe now, and not in Ukraine, maybe somewhere in the USA, maybe in Canada, maybe somewhere in China, so you will tell us about that a bit. So as you can see, most of us, are in Ukraine now, but still we see some people are in Poland, some are in Italy. So I really appreciate your coming. And what does that mean? It means that you are professionals, and if you joined this webinar from Europe, you really want to become a better teacher. So I hope I will help you with that. This webinar is conducted in Skovoroda-hab, that is our regional center of blended education in our university. For those who didn't attend the first webinar, so you can scan the code and you will find our website. You can also find us on YouTube. 1 second, I will share the link to our first webinar, so if you want to watch it, please do. The link is there. So today we are going to speak about the strategies of class management in multi-level groups of learners. We will speak about the concept of class management. We will brush up on interaction modes in multi-level groups of learners. We will also speculate about the layouts that can be used in multi-level groups of learners. We will discuss the staging of a lesson in a multi-level group of learners and also time management techniques. What does class management include? Today, a lot of interaction. So again, please scan the code, type in the code, and your task will be just to type in one word or maybe 2 words if you want, which you associate with classroom management. So what does that mean? So what can we see here? Your answers are classroom organization, teacher roles, discipline, curriculum, learning environment, organization, time management, clear instructions, instructor, and schedule. Thank you for the answers. We will develop the idea, during this webinar. So let's look at the definition of classroom management. I have found 2 approaches to defining what this term means. So we can look at classroom management as something traditional, and according to the more traditional interpretation, classroom management is just ensuring compliance, or in other words, we can say obedience. So that is making sure that our students are sitting in their seats, following directions, listening attentively, and so on. A more updated interpretation of classroom management is establishing and maintaining an environment, and you have mentioned environment in the word cloud, that enhances students' academic performance, their social and emotional growth. So not only academic performance, but also their personal growth. So we can conclude that the goal is not order for the sake of order, but order for the sake of learning. And here we deal with different teachers' actions. So when we want to manage our classes effectively, we need to take into account our behavior. That is our positive attitude to the whole process, to our students, to the materials we use, to the discipline itself. We need to demonstrate happy facial expressions. Yeah, we need to regularly encourage our students. We need to respect them and treat them fairly. We need to organize a welcoming and well lit classroom if it is face to face learning, and provide our students with intellectually stimulating learning materials. So as for the materials, yeah, we need to consider what types of texts we use, what types of equipment we use, and the texts, the equipment, and the activities we use, so should engage our students. Classroom management is also connected with our expectations. So, quality of work teachers expect students to produce, ways that the teachers expect students to behave, and the agreements teachers make with the students. As for the activities, so they are learning experiences designed to engage students. So you can see that classroom management includes a lot of aspects we need to consider in our teaching. So, what is in focus? Yeah, we can say rapport, time, layout, discipline, interaction modes, and staging. At this webinar, we are going to focus our attention primarily on time, layout, interaction modes, and staging of the lesson. You are familiar with interaction modes we can use at the lesson. So whole class, group work, pair work, and individual work. But how do we use these interaction modes while working with multi-level groups of students? Whole class activities or whole class work. So it is best for icebreakers and daily warm-ups. When you just start your lesson, yeah, and you meet a new group of students, you use icebreakers. You use warm-up activities at the beginning of every lesson. Whole class activities are ideal for topic introduction. When you introduce new grammar material, yeah, or when you introduce your students to the new content. This topic introduction can be followed by students' individual and small group activities. Whole class work is often used for class projects, which aim yeah, to create a finished product, for example, a book or video, where each learner completes a part of the task based on their individual abilities and interests. Whole class work is often used for brainstorming and also for listening and reading comprehension, so with different kinds of scaffolding. So you can do one and the same listening task, but provide your students with different levels of scaffolding. Peer work. So you can organize your students in pairs in two different ways. You can put your students in like-level pairs. And like-level pairs succeed when partners' roles are interchangeable or equally difficult. So this type of pairing is best for example, information gap, sharing information, yeah, dialogue activities, role plays, peer interviews. Cross-level pairing succeeds when partners are given different roles and heavier demands are placed on the more proficient learner. And it is best for interviews where one questions and one answers. So the person who answers does more work, and role plays. So one learner has a larger role. I'm sure that you can come up with more ideas for like level activities and cross level activities, yeah, done in pairs. Here are just some examples. I want to focus on group work more at our today's webinar. And if we speak about group work, we can do it in 4 different ways. So we can group our learners when the learners of the same level are in the same group. Yeah, we can use grouping learners of different levels together, we can group learners according to their interests, and we can group our learners randomly. So let's consider each way separately. Grouping learners of the same level together. This way has its pluses and minuses. The advantages of this way of grouping are as follows. So students who are intimidated by the superior knowledge of their peers are provided with a secure space. If learners of the same level are grouped together. Stronger students can be provided with additional challenges. The teacher can focus on providing struggling students with assistance, while stronger students are working autonomously in their groups. And so it is easier to create more individualized instruction because actually you can prepare two different sets of activities for these groups of learners. There are also some disadvantages. For example, social hierarchy may appear based on placement. Negative feelings may occur based on placement. And this way of grouping is not representative of our society. Because in real world, we deal with people who have different levels and skills. So the question is how to deal with negative feelings that our students may have if they are working in the group where all the students have the same level, and lower level students may experience some negative feelings. What can we do as teachers? Are there any ideas? So a group of struggling students, may feel inferior.
Okay, can I
Yeah.
say something? Yeah, how to deal with negative feelings? You see, that just it is a very difficult question to answer, to find one correct answer. You know that just I have certain experience. It's not about grouping, but actually it's about whole class. Huh? When I was a school teacher, there was such an experiment that one group of pupils, they were the fifth graders, were selected, and according to uh, the marks, results after finishing primary school. And you know that just about, to be exact, 25 pupils were selected in one class, and they were with very low results. And you know that just, and I had a chance to teach them. And you know that just I can compare their feelings with imagine that one class, it is just one group in one class. And very often they spoke about that. Though they were only 10-year-olds, but they spoke about that quite often. And how to deal with that? You see, just when I taught them, I tried never to focus their attention on their level. And I did the same tasks with this class, with this group, but just I used that scaffolding. I simplified them, and you know that just among them, there were really very creative pupils, children. So I tried to focus the attention to shift from negative into positive and to pay attention to the things that they are good at. And it was the only way, how I could cope with this problem. And actually, it was extremely challenging.
Yeah. So according to the theory of multiple intelligences, we may be good at different spheres. And if our students are not good at languages, they may be they may excel at music, interpersonal
Yeah.
communication, math, and so on and so forth. And we need to focus on other strands except languages. Thank you for the idea, Maxima.
Yes, I think that the teacher should have the similar or the same attitude for every student. He or she should uh, create a peaceful atmosphere, and mm, the thoughts, the opinions of everybody should be heard.
Okay, so yeah, we need to treat our students fairly, yeah, and to pay equal amount of attention and time to them. Thank you so much. So the main idea is not to focus on weaknesses, but on strengths. Thank you. So let's go on. Grouping learners of different levels together. You can see some advantages, such as students help each other, they learn from each other, they develop social skills, and of course, tolerance, because in one and the same group, yeah, there can be students who have, for example, level A2, B1, and B2, and they need to tolerate each other's pace, abilities, and so on. The teacher becomes a facilitator in this way of grouping rather than an instructor. And I would say that this teacher's role contributes to developing students' autonomy. And a more lifelike context for communication is created. So, just as in real life, yeah, we deal with people of different levels and skills, and multi-level groups, yeah, provide, they create this context. The disadvantages, can you come up with any? So we're going to name some disadvantages, and we're going to think how these limitations can be dealt with. So imagine a group of different levels together. So what drawbacks can appear?
So can I join?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So it just my own experience says that when we have different level students together, the main problem I have faced that the struggling students feel this discomfort of having not expected knowledge, yes, and they feel they feel shy, I should say, and they are not so active maybe as we teachers expect of them to be active alongside with the high flyers, for example. Yeah. So it's my speculation. I'm not sure that I'm sure that it is not the only one problem, but now I'm teaching mixed level classroom, and I can see that it is the main problem I'm trying to overcome as a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
How to motivate my struggling students to be as active as my strong students.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Well, we're going to speak about that a bit later. Yulia?
Maybe some difficulties can arise because of the more high level students have difficulties with communication of some items with the lower level students.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is
To say that they can't adapt their speech to struggling students.
yeah, and they feel some disbalancing with the communication.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Any other minuses you can think of? So we have mentioned two. Yeah, the first one is that lower level students or struggling students, let's call them, are unwilling to participate. They feel embarrassed, they feel shy. So what can we do with that? There are 26 professionals at our webinar, so I'm sure that at least one of you, yeah, has an idea to share.
Just can I add
Yeah.
one idea? When we work in groups, we should do the following thing. It's about to distribute roles. Yeah, and secretary, timekeeper, then a presenter. So, and you know that just in such situation, if a person is a timekeeper and it is their responsibility and it is very important, maybe to start with such things. Yeah, and next time they can be involved in speaking, in just brainstorming ideas, doing some other things.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and sometimes it's a good idea when a high flight is a timekeeper for this person not to speak at all. Yeah, because this person can take all the space and time, and he or she will not let others
Yeah.
speak
Yeah.
up. Mhm.
Or it can be a secretary, just the team members or group members just brainstorm ideas, and this person puts everything down well without speaking. Or maybe then this person also can add the ideas. You see that just, but it is safe. It should be safe at first.
Yeah, so assigning roles is one of the ways out. Thank you so much. And the problem that Yulia has mentioned. So, when high level students can't just adapt to the level of lower level students, and there is some disbalance between higher and lower level students. So, they are not able to understand each other, or they have difficulty in tolerating each other's space. So, what can be done here? Yulia, maybe you have an idea you want to share? Please.
Maybe I got an idea that the student with high level can be like a tutor for the student with lower level of English skills, and a teacher could give the some kind of reward for the higher student level to be is tutoring the lower student, and um, the higher student level English skills student have more points to get rewards and at this process.
Yeah, so you need to do some preparatory work. Yeah, you need to make
Yeah,
them aware that they need to simplify their speech from time to time. They need to assist their group mates. Yeah, that can be one of the ways out. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Random grouping is one more way of grouping, so it provides variety. It ensures that students do not always work with the same people in class. And how can we group our students randomly? So if we work online, we can use some apps. Yeah, of course, we can use Zoom. Yeah, but there are some extra apps like random lists, random team generator, regrouping. You do not even need to sign up. 1 second, I will share the links. So if you're interested in that, all you need to do is type in the names of the participants, and the app will generate the group itself. So it helps a lot. If we work face to face, now on the screen you can see a couple of techniques you can use for random grouping with your students. So I have provided just the names, like grab the string, colored sticky notes, popsicle sticks, categories, blind draft, and the pictures, just for you to have a general idea what it may involve. So the question is, what do you think the procedure is when you use these techniques? What is grab the string? How can you use this technique if you want to group your learners randomly? It can also be used for putting your students in pairs. It depends on the color of these pieces of string. So, any ideas? Just look at the name and at the picture.
Maybe close your eyes. Close your eyes and touch the string, and then you can find the partner or members of the group.
Yeah, a good idea. Any other tries? No? Okay. So the teacher beforehand prepares a bunch of strings, pieces of strings of different colors, and the teacher holds this bunch in the middle. Well, and the teacher asks, just take one piece, one end, of the string. And then the teacher lets go of the whole bunch, and two students who hold, the same, the ends of the same piece of string work together. And it depends on the color. If you use different colors, then you can put your students into pairs. If you use just two colors, then all the students who, for example, hold on to the pink string work in team one, and so on. So I hope the idea is clear, and it is a fun way, to group your students. What about colored sticky notes? How can you do that? Colored sticky notes.
You can
It's
prepare different colors sticky notes,
Mhm.
and ask your students just to pick any they want,
Mhm.
and then divide them into groups
Mhm.
based on the color they chose.
Yeah, one of the alternative ways to do that, yes. Any other ideas?
so you can stick these notes to the chairs or to the desks
Yes.
where the students are sitting. Yeah.
Or maybe under their desks, and they will find that a bit
Yes,
irritating
yeah.
for them
Or
not.
under their chairs, just to provoke the movement around. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. So you do it before the lesson for students not to see that. One more good idea, actually, it was new for me too, popsicle sticks. How can you use that? Maxim.
Yes, I know a little similar method in offline learning. We can choose several matches or matches. Some of them are short and some of them are long. Which match the student takes
Yes.
in those group or team, he will be or she will be.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. And here the idea is the same, but you can write the names on these popsicle sticks. You can write the names of the teams, the number of the group. If you want to divide your students into three groups, you just put numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and they grab this stick, and they can see the number of the group they are in. Categories, the most obvious here, I would say. So what do we do? What do we ask our students to do?
Okay, we can ask about their birthdays.
Yes. So this is
Then
when they were born. And you divide them according to the season. Yulia.
Or maybe if they have common hobbies or interests, and we can gather them together, depends on their interest and common hobbies.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's right. So interests, seasons, maybe months, eye color, why not? Hair length, any pieces of clothes they are wearing, and so on and so forth. So it's easy to do. As for the last one, blind draft. This technique is for those who like basketball. Yeah, so just remember what draft is. What is drafting? Maybe it will give you an
Is it
idea.
a technique when you just put some names on sheets of paper and then put all of them into the container, and then an instructor or a teacher just selects these pieces of paper with the names given
Ah, uh,
there? No?
it can be done as well, but the explanation, the description was a bit different. So just, there are two captains or three captains of the teams or of the groups, and they select the members, but they do not know which team they are going to work with. So if you select these members, it doesn't mean that you are going to work with this team. That is why it is called blind draft. So just for a variety, yeah. Okay. Any other ways of grouping? Maybe you use something else I haven't mentioned. No. Okay.
so just I arrange per work in the way, especially when we learn some new vocabulary, and just for my students to motivate them to remember. Yeah, so I have two pieces of just the beginning and the ending of the phrase. Then I cut it, and they should find the partner with the beginning or with the end to make the collocation. Yeah, and they in this way I can change their pairs. Yeah, so from time to time.
Yeah, it can be a collocation. It can be, if you want to organize some kind of a discussion, you can divide a statement into two halves. Yeah, they find their partner and they start discussing the statement they have. Okay, Maxim.
Yes, we have also, I don't know how to say, counts, like считалочки, not мовою. And with them, with the help of counts, we can divide students for two or more teams, how we want.
Okay, another way, and you don't need to spend anything on that. Yes,
Yeah.
you don't need to spend time and money. Okay, let's go on. So these are the ways of random grouping. Uh, it doesn't matter, yes, what groups we form. So multi-level groups or groups of students with the same level of English. We need to take into account that every group undergoes some stages of development. Now on the screen you can see 5 stages of group development by Tuckman. So norming, storming, performing, forming, and adjourning. And I hope that the pictures will help you to understand the idea behind these stages. I want you to look at the names and at the pictures and order the stages. Later we will check. So norming, storming, performing, forming, and adjourning. So we need to take that into account when the same groups of students work for a long period of time. For example, they do a project together for a couple of months. Maybe they are working for the whole week on something, and their group may undergo these stages of development. So, what do you think the first stage is? I suppose
I
it's
think
obvious.
it might be performing first of all.
Performing. The first stage is performing. Does everyone agree? Nope. Okay.
No,
So, what is the
no.
first stage? Раиса, подожди.
Oh, no, no. Maybe someone else is ready to share the ideas.
I suppose it's obvious here, yeah? Norming, storming, performing, forming, adjourning.
Yeah. At first, we should make groups and start with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
It
probably
is,
the
it is
first
a
stage.
prompt, Yulia. It is a prompt, a hint for you. Then it is, yeah. Okay.
Is forming. What's the next stage, do you think? Is I'm going to show the keys a bit later, but still.
Norming.
Norming. You think it is norming. Okay, let it be. Number 3.
Storming.
Performing.
Performing
No,
then. Okay.
no performing.
There
No.
were two variants. Storming and performing. Just how to place two of them. Somebody gave answer storming.
Number 3, storming.
Yeah, somebody. It was not my answer. It was somebody's answer.
Okay, storming. Maxim, what do you think?
Yes, I agree, strongly agree that storming should be before performing, because brainstorming is a process for giving an ideas for teammates, and performing it's just a set of ideas to make in one.
Okay.
That's why I strongly agree.
So forming, norming, storming, then. Number 4,
Performing.
performing and adjourning. Okay, let's check. Here you have the key. So, were we right? Forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. Actually, norming and storming. Yes, norming and storming. So let's look at the stages.
Yeah, I have a question. I want to specify one moment, just to let everyone understand why just storming and then norming. It is, and maybe it is when the members of the group have to choose their name, yeah?
Forming,
It is one item, and just have to at first to make a list of ideas, so just to brainstorm the ideas.
So that is one of the initial stages, yes, but why do we call it storming? So here you have the answer, yeah? The first stage, forming. So here, team acquaints and establishes ground rules. Formalities are preserved. Members are treated as strangers. It means that the members of the team or the group haven't got used to each other yet. Yes? Then the stage of storming. So at this stage, members start to communicate their feelings, but still they view themselves as individuals but not members of the group. They may resist the control by the group leader and they may show hostility. So that is one of the initial stages when, yes, they select the name of their team or the name of their group, and they may have conflicts. They may brainstorm ideas. They may have some disagreements in terms of the way they are going to do this activity, who is going to be responsible for what, and so on and so forth. So that is the second stage.
Can we add here negotiating?
Yes, I would say that is the third stage already. If they negotiate, so probably they start finding common language. Yeah, they stop quarreling in the group. So the third stage is norming. People start feeling a part of the team. They realize that they can achieve some outcome only if they work together, and they start accepting other viewpoints. So instead of debating and disagreeing with all other members of the team, they start discussing and negotiating. The last but one stage, performing. At this stage, the team works in an open and trusting atmosphere where flexibility is the key and hierarchy is of little importance. So actually, that is the stage when students, in our case, in LT, start working on the activity or on the task we have given them. Well, the final stage is adjourning. What does that mean to adjourn? So in this case, the team conducts an assessment. Here we have of the year, but it can be the assessment of the results of their work during the week or this term. They celebrate their achievements. If they have won something, they celebrate their victory. But still, they understand that their work has finished. And they stop being members of the team. So, yeah. So from forming to adjourning. Forming is the formation of the group, and adjourning, so that is when students cease to be a group. We see 5 stages here. At which stage do you think students need our attention, our assistance most of all? And what kind of assistance can we provide them with? Maxim.
Yes, I think that teacher should pay attention for norming, because in some groups there is a person who thinks that he or she is a leader, and opinion of others doesn't matter, or
You,
I'm sorry, don't matter. Yeah.
you mean the stage of norming or storming?
Uh,
Uh,
mm,
Yeah, that's what
maybe.
I want to add. That kind of attention of the teacher need to be at the storming stage more than at the norming.
Yes, yeah, that is true. So when they have conflicts, yeah, you need to intrude. What do you think? What should we do at the adjourning stage? Um, so they have some positive feelings, they celebrate their achievements and victory, but still they may feel sad. Well, they start distancing themselves from other members of the team. Yulia?
Maybe teachers should mention some positive conclusion of all these
Mhm.
event and how good all of the members of the team behave with each other.
That's a
And
good idea, yeah.
yeah,
And for students not to distance themselves from others and from the group.
uh, um, I think teachers should mention the positive side of all of the different groups.
Mm-hmm. And maybe we can outline some plans for the future.
Yeah.
That is not our final step, that we're going to work in groups. So later
Yeah,
during.
to organize final feedback session.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to
Yeah,
speak
it's a
about
great idea.
positive things and about their feelings, about their future plans and desire to work
Mhm.
maybe with other members, with members from other groups. That just to share the experience, and then everyone will be aware of the problems,
Mhm.
of the just positive moments and some other things.
Yeah, so we can encourage them to reflect on their work. So what they liked, what they didn't, what they would improve. Yeah, and they can use this information when working with other groups of students in the future. Why not? Okay. So we have discussed different ways of grouping. Yeah, grouping learners of the same level, grouping learners of different levels together, random grouping, and we have also outlined the stages of group development, which we need to consider not only while working in multi-level groups of students, yeah, but also when we're working with students of the same level. Uh, Classroom layout. So when we group our students, yeah, when we use different modes of interaction in face-to-face education, we need to consider the layout of the classroom. That will be more appropriate for this or that mode of interaction. You can see 9 different layouts. There are more. These are the basic ones. Again, I want you to scan the code, and there you will find a little multiple choice activity. You need to correlate the mode of interaction and the classroom layout. 1 second, I will share the link to this activity. I see that some of you have already finished, so I suggest discussing the layouts we can see on the screen. You had similar variants in the test, yeah, and you can also see the answers in the test. So, right? What about these layouts? How can we correlate them with the modes of interaction we use at our lessons? So, A, when do we use it?
For individual work.
Individual work, right? And can it be used for whole class activities? Yeah, why not? B.
Yeah, for testing
Yeah,
also
for
can be.
testing. Yeah, it is ideal for testing, for students not to cheat and to concentrate, not to get distracted. B.
For pair work.
Pair work, yes, it is clear, and whole class activities again, because
Work in pairs, maybe.
yeah, pair work, that's right.
Yeah.
Then C. It's easy.
Work in small groups.
Yeah, that's true. Then D.
Whole class interaction.
It can be whole class
Can be.
interaction, yeah, but you can see 2 rows of desks, yeah, and students face each other.
Group
Maybe for
discussion.
some,
Julia?
yeah, maybe for some discussions, yes. I
Discussions,
wanted to say that.
debates, yes?
Debates, yeah.
That is true. So you divide your students into 2 groups, and they will express their opinion against something and for something. So then E.
Whole class activity.
Yeah, that is right. Look at F. It's a bit different. And we do not
Maybe
normally use this type. Julia.
when we multiply some groups, so different combining of different groups from different classes, maybe. Or
Look at the teacher and look at the students. So students do not face the teacher. Yeah, they do not see each other. When can we use it?
Maybe for testing.
It is possible, right? And it can also be used when we work with some digital tools. In computer classes, you can see this layout. Yeah. So it can be used for individual work as well. Then G and H. These 2 layouts are a bit different, and we don't see any furniture at all. So
It's
Some
something
active,
that- okay.
Julia?
some active activities, like
physical
for,
activities, like you
So-
need to do some energetic activities with each
So-
members of group.
Yeah, when we use total physical response with our students, so primarily with younger learners, but it can also be used with basic school students. So why not? You will use actually this layout for grouping learners with the grab the string technique. Then age. It's a bit different.
I don't know, but I thought I thought that it's like a specific gather of groups when people are discussing some difficulties or problems, some psychological issues, maybe like a psychological therapy into the group.
And the teacher becomes a member of the group, yeah, equal to the learners. Why not? And the last layout. So when can we use that?
group activity.
Group activity, so whole class activity probably,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they were called together, but we see the teacher, and the teacher does not participate in the process. So learners work autonomously. The teacher is just the observer. So when it is possible.
Can we call it public meeting?
We can on
Or
condition
some
that
kind
the
of
teacher,
conference between the students.
why not? So on condition that the teacher is an observer, but so the teacher does not participate in the process. The teacher can observe, and later on, the teacher will give feedback. Okay, which layouts are good for multi-level groups of learners? Do you think?
C,
Yes. So you
B.
can C and B, like level pairs, yes, cross-level pairs, and the same with C, multi-level groups and groups of students with the same level. That's right. Can we use D? We can, but in what way? If they have different levels. Can we use this layout for groups with different levels? So multi-level groups of students. You have
Yeah.
groups of students where, yeah, so they have different levels of English command. Can we?
Yeah, of course. Why not? For example,
Maybe, yeah.
if it is a project, project, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, then some of them can collect data, others can work with it, and so on.
Yeah, can we use that for the group of students, for the groups of students of the same level? So just imagine one group consists of students with lower level of English and the other with a higher level of English.
Yes.
In what way?
Okay, they can get different tasks. Maybe just the topic can be the same, but the focus can be on different things. And then students or weaker learners or just low level students just can do their part. Or maybe it can be two parts of the same task, some kind of introduction. Just for lower level students and something just which demands more just good language command and so on, that just good speaking skills, then able learners can do that. And just then it can be one project, but different parts, different roles.
That's true. So we can make a conclusion, yeah, that we can use all layouts presented on the screen, but we should decide ourselves which one we choose when we work with different groups. So it is possible to adapt. Thank you so much for that, and let's go on. Staging of lessons when you work with multi-level groups of students. When I was preparing for this webinar, I managed to find two models, and I agree with them, but actually you can follow your own one. So you can see model 1 now. The class starts with an opening activity. So usually we organize some kind of a warm-up activity for the whole class, or we can just introduce our students to the topic. So in this case, that is a warm-up activity. Then the teacher divides the whole class into two groups, and these groups work separately. So in group 1, teacher presents the new material. Yeah, it will be teacher directed instruction. And let's compare this stage with the stage in group 2. Student directed instruction. Students work in groups on previously taught materials. So as I understand that, you divide your students into two groups according to the amount of knowledge they have on the topic. If they have never, for example, heard about present perfect, and you are going to teach them this tense at the lesson, so you introduce the tense to those who do not know anything about that, yeah. And for those students who are familiar with the topic, so you can provide them with some activities they can do on their own in order to identify the gaps in their knowledge. So what happens next is, in group 1, after introducing the new material, the teacher provides students with the follow-up activities for them to practice, yeah, to apply this knowledge. So they are mainly drilling activities to develop this sub-skill, yeah, of using, for example, present perfect. In group 2, so while group 1 work autonomously, yeah, without teacher's assistant, the teacher goes to group 2 and reviews the work of the group and provides feedback. So in this case, it is essential for students' works to be checked, for the feedback to be given. Yeah, so students need some feedback. What happens next is, so two groups work together and they may do some application activity, some communication activity all together. It can be an activity with different amount of scaffolding, but still they work on the same activity and the teacher finishes the class. So it is the way or the model that you can use when you need to introduce the new material only to a part of your students. Yeah? And the other half will work on the same material. They will just brush up on their knowledge. They will revise that. Another model is here. So that is the model you can use for practicing what your students have already learned. The teacher starts the class with an opening activity. This model can be used for project work, so the teacher can introduce students to the task, to the project they are going to do, or just a warm-up activity at a regular practice lesson. The teacher divides students into two groups and monitors both groups. They are working on the activity or they are working on their projects. The project may have the same topic, so they may work on the same topic, but they may use different materials. Then in the middle of the lesson, they come together, they share the results they have achieved so far, they demonstrate their learning. Then again, they are divided into two groups. The teacher monitors their work, and at the end of the lesson, they apply their knowledge in some communication activity, and the teacher finishes the lesson. My question to you is whether you have ever used these models. Maybe you have never heard of them, but you intuitively used them. So I used this model when I worked with our foreign students. I had a group of students in which there were foreigners who could hardly read, and a group of Ukrainian learners who had level B1. And it was extremely difficult to balance. It was in face-to-face format. I introduced the new material to foreigners, and then I went to the group of B1 learners and worked with them. So I managed to balance.
Yeah, I also have certain experience, just model one, when I taught a group of students. It was a multilingual class from Vietnam, from China, from Turkey, from Turkmenistan or Turkmenia, and from Ukraine. And you can imagine just how their levels differ. And really, just this model is good for teaching such group of students. But as for this, in model one, this group two, student-directed instruction, just elicitation is very useful. When we elicit, just do not explain. We understand that they know, but to what extent? Where the gap is. We define that, and then we understand that it will not take a lot of time to explain something, to add some details. Then it is okay.
So they revise and they also can develop the knowledge they already.
And as for model two, also I cannot say that I do that on a regular basis, but when my students do their projects, I use such model.
Mm-hmm. It can be done, by the way, with listening or reading activities. You divide your students into groups. They may be listening to the same text, but the materials you provide them with are a bit different in terms of the complexity. Some of them will have visual, maybe images to help them understand the text. Some of them will have to fill in the chart, and some of them will have to complete open-ended questions. So the level of difficulty of the tasks may be different, but still they are listening to the same audio. And later you will manage to check their comprehension as a whole class activity.
I want to add that such a model 2, is very good for getting to know each other better, just to be close, especially now when we teach online. And you know that just when we give such tasks, usually when they do something or just somebody is going to make presentation, I always say just listen, take notes, be ready to give comments, agree or disagree, specify some moments, and that just they understand that it's not just sitting and doing nothing, and waiting for their turn. To speak, to make presentation, but also they understand that they will do that. Everyone is involved into the process. They listen, they practice their speaking, and they're listening, and after that speaking, also note taking and a lot of useful things.
Yeah, they become active listeners. They give feedback. In our context, so while we are teaching trainee teachers of English, so it is essential, for them to correct each other, to give feedback, recommendations on how to improve, and so on. Well, and the last issue we're going to consider is time management. So when we work with multi-level groups of students, how are we supposed to manage the time at the lesson? You can see some tips. So you can provide your students with time-differentiated activities. So we should mind that time allotted for a task should be a bit shorter than the attention span of the students who work on this task. Alternatively, we can make our tasks so engaging that our students' attention span will be is longer. Then, advanced students often have extended attention spans, so you can provide them with longer texts, with more complicated activities. Finally, if you see that some students are really interested in the activity, so you can allow them a longer chunk of time just to process and to the information to explore the topic further. Another tip is using anchor activities. So they are specified activities to which students turn automatically when they complete an assigned task. So if you have some fast finishes in class, these fast finishes should know that, for example, at the end of the book, there are some extra activities they can do if they finish faster than everybody else. So in this case, you will solve the problem with the discipline at the lesson. Your students will not be bored, and they will see that they really make some progress. You can so prepare this not at the end of the book. It may seem boring a bit, but you can prepare some reward activities for them. Just to have fun when they finish. And we can use some start and stop signals. What are they? So when you want to stop the activity and you want everybody's attention, or when you need to start the activity and again you need to attract everybody's attention. Here you can see some techniques that work well. So clap method. Clap a specific rhythm and your students will clap back with some response. And the idea is that this signal should be repetitive. So you repeat them as long as your students need. So when you see that everybody is looking at you, then you stop. Eyes on me. So say 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, and you repeat that. So until your students, all your students, so pay attention. Hands up. You can raise your hand. Students stop what they are doing, and they also respond by raising their hands. I like the fourth one, ice freeze. So shout out ice when you need your students to stop the activity, and your students stop what they are doing and they respond with freeze. So you can hear their answers. If you can hear me, so shout if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. And you can do it so as long as needed. Lights. If you work in the classroom, so face-to-face learning, you can flicker the lights. You can turn the lights on and off just to indicate that the activity started or finished. You can use music. So when the music starts, students begin the activity, and when it stops, students look at you for further instructions. Have you ever used any of these signals? Have you ever encountered, maybe you learned in some groups, maybe you had some course and the instructor used some of these signals? Once I had a course of professional development, and the instructor from the USA used the clap method, and we liked that immensely. Music was often used at school, so why not? Maxim?
Unfortunately, during the war, we have one more stop signal. It's siren on, or we can say buzzer.
Yes, yes,
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, yeah, I agree with that. Well, but you have some ideas, yeah, to implement in your teaching. Can you think of any signals that can be used online? We can use clap method. Why not? Yeah,
Yeah.
but on condition your students' microphones are unmuted. You,
I
I
use my
will. Yeah.
I
Okay.
use my telephone. I set the time. I say, for example, say limit is 2 minutes or 3 minutes. I set the time, and then it does. No, 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 no. Well, and say the time is up, and everyone knows that the time is up, and they stop doing that. Well,
I see. Yeah, it is possible. Yes,
yeah,
even if their
Yeah,
microphone.
I use this. Yes, I use the same technique as Fedorina uses. Yes, the same. When the music of my phone rings, yes, everything is clear.
yeah.
And my reminder: 1 minute left, 2 minutes left. Yeah.
I see. Anything else we can use online? Julia?
Maybe I think music can be suitable for the
Yeah,
online process
it's
of
possible, but it
learning
is
and
a bit
teaching.
challenging to control your students, especially if you work with school children. Just imagine that you turned on some music, and their cameras are off, their microphones are off, and you're not sure what they are doing there. Maybe they are dancing. You don't know. it's
Maybe, yeah.
it's easy to do in a physical setting, but quite challenging to do in online.
And that's why Eyes on Me also didn't work, maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah. Can we use reactions? We can.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we use our chat for pluses or finished or done? Yeah, just for you to know that some students have finished already and they need additional attention or maybe some extra activities to do. So it is possible. Well, uh, they can draw something on the screen on Zoom. It is possible. So if they have finished, yeah, they can put a tick. So you can use some digital tools to do that. Well, we have finished. I hope that the webinar was useful. Yeah, you learned something new that you will implement in your classes. I really appreciate your coming, but still, if you have any questions, let's discuss them. Maybe you have some experience to share. So, Pani Hanno?
Okay, so I would like to ask the question. I'd like to be back to models we have discussed today. I really like model one, and now I'm thinking about the implementation of this very model with my class, with the class. So, but the question is how to avoid this inconvenience when I start dividing my class into struggling students and strong students, because it is clear, yes, that one group one is no, okay, just this inconvenience of psychological inconvenience, how to avoid it.
Well, actually, you can rearrange groups from time to time because just imagine my favorite grammar, yeah? You need to introduce some new grammar topic, but it doesn't mean that group 1 is permanent and they know everything that you're going to introduce them to, and group 2 so will not know anything. So at every single lesson, when you're going to introduce them to a new grammar topic, you will just maybe ask them whether they are familiar with the topic or not. You may conduct a diagnostic test, a little diagnostic test for you to see whether they know that or not. And then you will group them. So what I mean to say is that regardless of their level, they may have heard of present perfect or not, like that. Yes. The groups will be different at every lesson.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, it is a good idea about to start with the test. Some test your knowledge and then you will see. Just
Yeah, we need to be
to
flexible.
eliminate your teaching subjectivity of this division.
Yeah, it is about this 3T, TTT. Yeah, test, teach, test.
And test. That is right. And it doesn't mean that you grouped your students at the beginning of your course and the groups are permanent. You should be flexible. So your students may change groups.
Yeah. It's clear, yeah. Just I'm thinking about how to apply it just during different classes, yes. And just I'm thinking about avoiding this inconvenience, not to offend my struggling students, yes, to show that their knowledge is not so perfect or something
But
like
if
that.
the atmosphere is supportive, just imagine you need to introduce a second conditional, for example, and you can ask them, so are you sure that you can do this activity correctly? Or do you feel confident while you use a second conditional in your speech? If they are not confident, then they are in group 1. If they are, then they are in group 2. Yes? So it may not
Okay.
be just the level, but it can be their confidence in what they can do and what they can't do. One of the ways.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. I'm looking forward to our next meeting next Thursday. Yeah, our webinar 3. Have a nice
Thank
evening.
you very much.
Yeah,
Okay,
bye.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Great job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Have a good evening. Bye.